Yeah, guys, we're not going to show her face, but we are going to let her tell us exactly what she's going through. Now, to be clear, right now, Oklahoma law enforcement is only focusing on deporting people they consider criminals. They're starting with more than 500 inmates currently in jail. Now, that's what Operation Guardian is, but it's not enough comfort for many people worried about being separated from their families.
Mi casa es mi cárcel.
My house is my jail. That's how one woman describes her life as news of mass deportation spread.
Since the man took office, I haven't left. Even now, I was very nervous to come here for this interview because I'm not even going to the store.
Beto says life is much different than when she first arrived in the U.S. at 16.
I had recently married my husband, and they told me I could come here to work. So they passed us through in a car. They didn't ask us anything.
Beto's husband was naturalized, so he's safe. 2 of her kids were born here, so they have birthright citizenship if the courts uphold it. The other is covered for now under DACA. Beto was never allowed to seek citizenship because she was caught sneaking back in after visiting her sick parents in Mexico years ago before they died. Now she feels like her luck is running out, so she's preparing to leave at any given moment.
We canceled our bank accounts, took out my money so that I wouldn't leave it, and we even signed powers of attorney for our kids. I know other people who are selling their homes.
These fears plague Beto despite Oklahoma's Public Safety Commissioner Tim Tipton telling KOCO it's the state's goal to only target undocumented migrants who are criminals now. Operation Guardian covers more than 500 inmates who are currently in DOC custody. Governor Stitt says taxpayers are paying about $36,000 per day to house them in state correctional facilities.
There's about 150 of those that fall under the area of nonviolent convictions. So the governor's having us look at each one of those cases.
¿Confías en eso o no?
No, definitivamente no, porque...
No, definitely not. Like I said, we know that this is a Republican state, and there are a lot of people who don't want us here. But they don't want us because, in reality, they don't know. Yes, it's my birthplace, but I don't know it anymore.
There are some groups that are helping migrants with resources, but they ask to not be named in this story out of concerns of losing federal funding or getting targeted by ICE themselves.
I understand that there are negative people that come here to do bad things, that misbehave, but we're not included in that same bag. There are people who come here to work and live in peace. That's it.
And I also spoke with the Mexican consulate today about what they're doing to help. They have documentation services for those who need to get some IDs for themselves or even for their kids. And that's also how they're helping law enforcement do their jobs and track down some of these people that they consider criminals. Now, the consulate says it's also seeing a rise in birth registration and dual citizenship applications as well for those who are afraid of getting separated from their kids. Live in the newsroom, Johnson Navarro, KOCO 5 News.